Hello, here I'm going to show you how to create a test using our COGNERO software. So I'm in my instructor resource center. Yours is going to look very similar to this once you've logged in. You're going to scroll down, and today I'm going to demo from the CALAT Biological Psychology text. If I scroll down a little bit further, you can see here's my link to MindTap, our link to the instructor companion site where you can download a Canvas or Blackboard test bank files, PowerPoints, instructor manual. And then we've got our Cognero test generator here. So once you've clicked on this link, it does open up into a new window. And you can see that I've got many different tests in here from different texts. So yours is probably going to have just a few. You wouldn't have so many different varieties. So you're going to start off clicking Create a New Test. And we'll give it a name. And let's put it, where do we want to put it? We're going to put it into this folder here. We're going to give it a new folder. We're going to give it its own name, and we'll call it CALAT. And now it will live in here, into the CALAT folder. What we're going to do is build an empty test. So we don't want a test with any questions because I want to select the questions myself. So I'm going to hit Finish. And so now I've got my empty test here into CALAT. So you can see that there are no questions that have been added. Okay, here's my CALAT test. Nothing is in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand where it says Biological Psychology 13th edition. And now here I've got the question banks for every single chapter. So I'm going to drag chapter 1 and drop it over into this white space. So just let go, drop it in there, and it's going to load all of the questions. And we're going to select open. So not add, we want to open. If you add, it'll add every single question from chapter 1 into this test. So you want to open them in here. And note that we're looking at, there's 125 questions for chapter 1, but they're only showing you 10 at a time. So I do find it easier if you select look at all questions, then you don't have to navigate from to different pages. So now we've got all of our 125 questions in this space. They are separated by question type. So it does have all of the true false at the top. And then if you scroll down, we've got our multiple choice. And then finally, the short answer essay questions are below. So let's say this is a question that I want to select. I'm going to click on it and drag it over to our CALAT test. So notice that when I dragged it over, it had the dotted lines indicating that I was putting it into the right space. So let's say this is our question, and see how CALAT is getting outlined? That's how you know it's going to drop in there. And now notice I've got 2 different questions that I just loaded in there. So as you go through, you can just keep selecting. And don't worry, you can select as many as you want because you will be able to edit these later. So I'm just going to add some questions. And so let's say I've added the ones I want, and I'm done with chapter 1, but I now want to select from a different chapter. You're going to simply click the X over here, and it will remove the question 1. And then I'm going to start off with chapter 2. So I'm going to drag and drop question 2 into this space. And once again, it has loaded all of chapter 2. I'm going to use the drop down to select all questions. So now I'm looking at everything for chapter 2. And now I'm going to continue that process of adding the questions that I want. Now notice that you can edit these. So there is a pencil icon. If you don't like the way that something is worded, you can edit those to how you see fit. But again, just keep going through and adding the ones that you want. So assuming you've gone through and added the questions that you want from as many different chapters as you like, you're going to X out of this. And now I want to edit what I've done and just double check that the questions that I've selected are correct. So I'm going to now drag my CALAT test into this area. So now it's loading my test, my CALAT test in here, and I've got all the questions that I've added. And note that I did only add 10, otherwise you'd want to go through and select the View All Questions tab once again. So now you can go through and say, okay, do I like the questions that I've added? Do I want to change anything? Do I want to remove them? And you can do that. So I can just click on this arrow and I can edit, and delete if I added a question that I don't like. And now I remove that from my test. So as soon as you've created all the questions that you want, then you're going to be able to export it. So now I can print it to a PDF. I can do single versions or multiple versions. I can export it to the Blackboard or QTI standard, which is what is used in Canvas. So that's how you'd upload this into Canvas if you're administering an online exam. Otherwise, printing to single or multiple versions will allow you to print for face-to-face questions. There's some editing features in here as well. Excuse me, for the test where you can do scrambling. So here's the scramble here, or you can organize it by question type, which would group all of the multiple choice and true false together. Or again, scrambling and then multiple versions would allow you to prevent some cheating. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you so much.